As we continue into the ammo shortage of 2021, I want to take a moment and make everybody aware how much ammo do you really need? Because we go out and sometimes we find it, sometimes we don't, and many people continue to search and search regardless of whether they find it or not. And some people that don't feel like they have enough really desire to have more. So how much do you really need? Well, that depends on who you are. So we're going to break this up into three different categories. First, if you're a prepper type, if you're concerned about some sort of world-changing event, my recommendation is 1,000 rounds of each caliber of each type of gun you have. So for example, if you have an AR-15 that fires a 5.56 and a 9mm handgun, I'm going to recommend you have 1,000 rounds of 9mm and 1,000 rounds of 5.56. Now that doesn't have to be all defensive rounds necessarily as well. I also recommend that you have at least 50 rounds of hollow point for each one of those calibers as well. Typically, most people will go their whole life and never need a defensive round, and if they do, they just need 1 to 3 rounds, maybe 6 at the most in a lifetime. But in the event of a world-changing event, you also have at least 1,000 rounds for each caliber of gun you have. Now, if you're the type of person, and a lot of people have one gun and it's for self-defense, and that's all they have. They might have a shotgun at home or a handgun at home. They just have one gun and it's for self-defense. What I'm going to recommend is 50 rounds of self-defense ammo, being hollow points, and 100 rounds of practice rounds for those opportunities when you get out to shoot. So if you're just, I got one gun, it's for self-defense, I'm going to recommend 50 rounds of self-defense and 100 rounds of practice ammo. Because again, those types of people, and there's a lot of people like that. My wife's one of those people. She's probably shot 100 rounds in the last 5 years. Never shot a self-defense round. So somebody like her, I'd recommend a box of 50 rounds of self-defense and 100 rounds of practice, just for those rare opportunities you get out and practice. And the third type of person is like a sports shooter, or somebody like a YouTuber who shoots a lot of videos. So this is kind of my category. Here, I'm kind of a prepper as well. I'm a borderline prepper, but I'm going to put myself in a bigger category of just being a shooter, just a guy that gets out and shoots a lot. For those type of people, again, I'm going to recommend 1,000 rounds per caliber for the one gun that you practice with the most. So like, let's say you shoot 9mm handguns for competition. I'm going to recommend 1,000 rounds of 9mm for that gun. And if you're a 3-gunner, then I'm going to recommend 1,000 rounds per gun that you compete with, or that you're getting out and shooting with. And then of course 50 rounds of self-defense for whichever gun it is that you are depending on for self-defense. Now typically 3-gunners, they depend on 3 guns for self-defense. It's usually a handgun, shotgun, AR rifle, or some sort of sporting rifle. So I'm going to recommend 1,000 rounds for each one of those, and then 50 rounds of self-defense for each one of those. And again, what I mean by practice rounds, just a full metal jacket, a lead ball, and self-defense rounds being some sort of hollow point that expands. So those are my 3 categories. Prepper, 1,000 rounds of caliber per gun. Just have a gun for self-defense, 50 rounds of self-defense ammo, and 100 rounds for practice. If you're a competition shooter, I'm going to recommend 1,000 rounds of practice for your one gun that you compete with, or 1,000 rounds for those 3 guns that you compete with, and then 50 rounds of self-defense ammo for whatever gun it is you're depending on for self-defense. If it's 3 of them, 3. So there you go. That's what I believe to be the amount of ammo that'll get you through. Now, I will say on this note that if you are like a person that has one gun, or there's one gun that you practice with a lot of guns will allow you to convert it to 22 LR, and like CZ75, Glocks, AR-15s can easily be converted to 22 LR. That completely changes everything for your ability to practice. So hope this video helps. Love to hear your thoughts on this. Again, this is my opinion. Again, most people will go through their entire life and never shoot a self-defense round in a desire to need it. And if they do need it, it's usually, you know, 1, 3, maybe 6 rounds that they need, and then they'll never need it again. So that's why I recommend preppers, 1,000 rounds of caliber per gun. Self-defense people, you just got one gun for self-defense, 50 rounds self-defense ammo, then a box of 100. And then if you're a sports shooter, I'm going to recommend 1,000 rounds per gun that you compete with. So, hope this video helps. Love to hear your thoughts on it. Put in the comments below. If you like this video, click like and subscribe. If you feel called to support our channel through Patreon, that link is also below. But the most important part of this channel is we take prayer requests. It's a ministry to us, so never hesitate to send that in. Thank you for watching this episode of God, Family, and Guns. And as always, love God, love your family, and love guns.